Umbote Kembo na Tatanzambi ya Mazulu, Kimfumu Kyaku Isa, and Zambi Maweshan, Zambi Akabenishan, Zambi Monene, in honor of Yaya. I know he's younger than me, and he hasn't been here back. He's coming, you're going to see him again, but Yanata Chilombo. He started this a long time ago. Give honor to him and all the others in this awakening, in this ministries. We honor those people who have brought knowledge, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot of rebuke of people that have motives that are not of the kingdom. And we're going to get into that. All praises, Kimber, hallelujah. For those of you who don't know me, my brother Trey, Isolele. If you're new to my channel, I thank you for coming. With Kokwisi Ombote, welcome. I know a lot of people are going to keep telling you this is the crazy guy. This is the guy that has all kind of things he's doing wrong and everything. But I'm going to talk about how the psychological deception of the Most High's false of the false Banabe to be Solele. And this is why Masindisi talked about you focus on the person and not who the person is way too much. And a lot of people are going to learn that this is when he says you hurt your people in the spirit. You're going to see a lot of people who are going to manifest when the Father really begins to separate the wheats from the tares, and he exposes everything that's being done with education, government, religion, military, and all these things. A lot of stuff is going to come out that there's only two banners. There's only two banners. The problem is Babylon has many banners. And Egypt or whatever, or anything to deal with the pagan Canaanites, there's many banners. But that Kongo has one banner. Okay? The Most High of Truth, the Christians claim we have our flag, and Rome has, it's like, no. Our Father has one banner, one spirit that is set. You have the 7 different types of spirits within the one spirit, the gifts of the spirit. And we're going to discuss how you're dealing with Pharisees. You're dealing with hypocrites. You're dealing with people that are there to rob and steal from the temple. I'm going to show you how this works. And they're acting like they're giving it when they're not. Okay? All praises, Kembo, hallelujah. Yenge, yenge. I'm going to get into the song. Okay, cookies. Tinamavimpi, Mona Tatanzambi, and Pungu Talendo. We're doing well in the grace of the Most High. We are struggling in the fight, but now we must wait on Team Kongo. We must wait on Tatanzambi, and we're going to show you how more and more, like I said, I know a lot of things that's going to happen regarding this political race and some other things that are unfolding. There's a sister who even sent a video that showed about the things going on in Britain right now and the things that are happening in Africa. You're going to see many places are having now a lot of natural disasters, okay? And actually, oh yeah, they wanted me to bring up 2nd Ezra on that. Because a lot of people don't know that in Matthew 24, that he was quoting Ezra a lot. And that's why the 2nd Ezra is not there, because they pulled it out because the way they interpreted what he said is backwards as to what he said in the days of Noah, like back in the days of Noah. And 2nd Ezra kind of gives you the better understanding. And at the same time, it also talks about what's going to happen to many of the false prophets, to many of those who are working under the false oath. And that's when he said, do not have any false oath, he was really talking about he was really talking about what some of the old prophets said. That's why they don't tell you all the rest of the stuff that Elijah said and Hanoka said and Zephaniah. I mean, because a lot of the prophets said certain things that have been removed. And we're going to get into that because there's things that Daniel said that's not there. Okay. And why they did that is because they did not want the world to know the full truth. But actually, you had it. Okay. That's why they took a lot of stuff out. And then they said, this is the word of God. And anybody who says otherwise is a liar and with Satan. And they stripped the Bible out so that the hypocrites wouldn't know that they're actually destroying the garden. And I'm going to talk about the secret. Remember, I talked about Garden of Eden. And I know this is a teaching that some people are doing, but I'm gonna bring it into more. I'm gonna make it really simple for people that don't understand. It's very simple. It's very simple. And this is how you're gonna know someone who's there for the interest of you versus the interest of themselves. And I'm not naming any names. It's not what it is, because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of pastors out here, a lot of so-called prophets and peace. They're in the interest of themselves and putting the Most High on it. And that's the issue. So I'm going to start the music. And this is going to show you, I'm going to show you how you're going to know someone who is a secret society in deception and someone who's preaching a false teaching, because it's very simple. Like I said, there's people saying stuff in churches that's not even in the scriptures. Like, even the ones they modified is not even there that they're saying this stuff. I'm like, that's not even right. And you're just saying, yeah, go ahead, preach it. Yeah, tell it. And I'm like, it's not even right. Not even close. So you've been turned into you are the mindless zombie. Or see, when they talk about the zombie concept, everybody is actually a zombie. There's some truth. There's a truth with a lie with what Malcolm said when he talked about the dry bones and the valley, when he did his Valley of Dry Bones speech. Okay. A walking zombie is anyone who is worshiping idols, whether they know it or not, which is a mockery of what we call. So now all that's going to happen right now is the manifestation of the spirit that controls you. That's already there. Okay. To where they're no longer going to be able to manifest and hide in the shadows. You will see who's chosen and who's not based upon the people who are really on the list and who aren't. Okay. And this is going to become the reality of the army. This is why they're trying to do their part to eliminate any and all possibilities that this army will manifest. And it's like, that's not possible. Okay. Because for one, this army can manifest in the spirit and turn into flesh. This is what they don't understand. Okay. That's generally how we fought in the first place. It was spiritual and physical at the same time. So let me share my screen. Okay, we'll start the music. Again, I don't own the rights to any music. As you see here, Kilanga, which is where Longi, Kilanga, ya ideni, Longi, Longa, teacher. The Most High is a teacher. Teach. The actual word teach is a Yiddish word. That's why you had the prophet, you had the pirate named Teach. Okay, everything even the prizes and everything is with the pirate. Everything is done through the Masonic order of the Skull and Bones. And we're going to get into all of that. And we're going to show you what's going to happen. I'm going to show you what's going to happen to Skull and Bones. It's going to be bad. Anyway, all praises. We're going to get into it. Oh, what happened to the volume? See, I've been having volume problems. Let me get it going again. Kongo, All right, umbote. All praises, Kimber, hallelujah. I am going to take you, well, first of all, Nge Ungavula Mono Yetambusa. I'm going to ask you answer. How do you know where the kingdom of Kongo is with where the kingdom is with the real people or the fake imposters? How do you know? I'm going to talk about the concept of the hero and the villain psychological mentality of the stupid yin yang twins and their idiotic tea party, and we'll get into that. And we're going to show you this is part of the way all societies have been engineered through their deception. People keep talking about Asia and the Chinese. I said, okay, first of all, Asia already controls America. Asia actually controls the whole world because in all reality, and this is the deception that people don't understand, is they lying to you. They're saying there's 7 continents when there's only the 6. Eurasia is the same. Okay. They had to make you believe in this false continent because they want you to think that Europe and Asia are separate when they're not. So, and I'm going to tell the real story about many of the Native Americans and why you're going to get, that's why I said, when you go to Native Americans now, they're not going to tell you their real history. They don't know it. Because the ones who do know it, if they're still around, are the darker people. That's the ones you got to actually talk to, because the ones who were not the darker people, most of them, they did not come from here. This is why I said, talking to one of them, they're like, yeah, we really don't know. Now, people could say, yeah, they got, the elders are gone. It's like, no. When you go back 500 years ago, there was a big delusion about what took place over here in the Americas, which is also tied to what happened in the colonial times, which also is connected to what happened in Eurasia. Because you have to remember, these continents, these places didn't have these names until they started inventing different titles to places that didn't exist. Okay? That's why the map makers are very much into the secret society destruction. Like, Australia had a different name, and so did, Africa. Europe had a different name. Yep. So did Russia. They all had a different name. South America had a different name at one time, and so did a lot of these other places. The concept is, it goes back to the barbarians. So you had like what they call Barbaria and Tartaria, which is something that they covered up. And then they have the hidden name of our father's kingdom, the real banner. And this goes all the way back to the days before the flood and after. Okay. Now, Babylonia, why it was called this, was where the people could no longer understand each other's language, of the 72 languages, when the tower fell. And it basically made it to where you had to relearn what other people speak the hard way, because this is what actually happened. Which it means that you did not remember the other people's languages, and the Holy Spirit was pulled from the ability to comprehend the one language. The only people that would be able to speak in the true tongues of men at one time were anybody who was filled with the kingdom of the Most High. That's how it works. Okay? So that's why now they have to make it up in the churches, and they're like, no, they're not speaking in any tongues. They're actually, I'll tell you exactly what they're speaking. What they're speaking is a language that was developed by the Anunnaki to bring you into their conscious level. And they're also, and what it does is, like when you, like I heard people speaking in it, you're speaking in an alien, or what they want to call alien, or the House of L's language. Okay, now there are Bantu words in some of it, but they're perverted. So that's why the Kongo speakers that know how to speak the language, that know how to cast spells, have incorporated it into the when there's people are speaking in tongues. So you actually go into a trance. And this is when they need you to be in order to keep you thinking that you know what you're talking about. It's like what they do with yoga, and I'll get into that. Okay? It's all a mantra, and it's all part of the putting you to sleep. So now, when we go to the book of Jasher, Yasa. It's really Yasa. Okay? It says, in those days in the deaths of Nsaka, Isaac is actually the name of an Anunnaki, but we won't go there. The Infumu commanded and caused a famine upon the whole earth. At the time of the Pharaoh of Engipiti was sitting upon his throne, he lay in his bed and dreamed dreams, and the Pharaoh saw in his dream that he was standing in the side of the river of Engipiti. And whilst he was standing, he saw, and behold, 7 fat-fleshed and well-favored kine came up out of the river. And the 7 other kine, lean-fleshed and ill-favored, came up after them. And the 7 ill-favored ones swallowed up the well-favored ones, and still their appearances were ill as at first. And he awoke, and when he slept again, he dreamed a second dream, and he saw to behold. Now remember, that's what we said. Not all dreams you get come from the Most High, but at the same time, you can get dreams from both sides, and you can get an interpretation. And then it said, and he awoke and he slept again in a dream, and the second time, and he saw, behold, 7 ears of corn came upon the stalk, rank and good, and 7 thin blasted the east wind sprang upon them, and the ears swallowed up the full ones, and the Pharaoh woke out of his dream. And in the morning, the king remembered his dreams, and his spirit was sadly troubled. Now, his spirit is what? Okay, know who this is. Was sadly troubled on account of any of his dreams. The king hastened and sent and called all the magicians, and all they now call this is science. This is why when they have earthquakes, oh, we need an explanation. They call the people that do the plate tectonics. They call the people that do the storm stuff. Okay, these people don't know. All they did was take the word magician and say scientists. Okay, making predictions, and then they're investigating things from an missing their father. They do things from a non-God existence level. So they're basing everything off of what they see, not what they know in the spirit. But this is all part of the deception, because those who pay them are operating in a spirit. And this is all part of the lie, to hide a lot of the history and the truth. Okay? And the wise men, and they came and stood before the Pharaoh, and the king said unto him, I have dreamed dreams, and there is none to interpret them. And they said unto the king, relate thy dream to thy servants, and let us hear them. And the king related to his dream to them, and they all answered and said with one voice to the king, may the king live forever. Okay? This didn't just start in Babylon and Egypt. They always were saying this. And what's funny is when we greeted up, we used to say this to them. Yosef, you said it, like I said, we talk about these rulers and everything. We don't express ill will on people, but we address liars. And see, the concept is, I know who these people are. Okay? And yes, they're going to live forever, but in a state that you're not aware of. This is why they have to lie about spirit. There's a living spirit and there's a dead spirit. Okay? And this is the interpretation of thy dreams. The 7 good kind which this is where you actually get the word kind from, by the way. So the word kind is another word for cattle. So K-I-N-D is K-I-N-E, which is the same thing as a cow. So that's why you're always eating grass, and they're not telling you that. Which thou didst see to denote 7 daughters that will be born unto the latter days, and the 7 kind which thou saying come after them and swallow them up, for the sign of the daughters which were born unto thee will die in the lifetime of the king. And thou was thee in the second dream 7 full corners of ear. Their interpretation now will be built on thyself latter days, 7 cities throughout the land of Engipiti. And thou sawest the 7 blasted ears of corn springing up, that thou wast the sign which thou will build will be destroyed in the latter days and the latter time of the king. Now keep this in mind. This is not completely true when you're dealing with the people who are under false gods. And thou didst see in the second dream 7 full good ear of corn. Okay. And when they spoke these words, the king did not incline his ear to their words, neither did he fix his heart upon them. For the king knew that in his wisdom, they did not give him the proper interpretation of the dreams. See there? That's why when you talk to someone who's in divination, or you speak with someone who claims to have the Most High power, the interpretation of dreams will be wrong. Because the king is saying, wait a minute, that doesn't seem to match. I can kind of tell that something is off. Okay? This is how you can determine who really knows the truth and who's really a liar. Okay? Like a lot of people are talking about the prosperity of America right now. A lot of people are talking about, oh yeah, things are going to get better. Yeah, we're going to move forward. Okay, it's a lie. The whole world is going into destruction. And I'm going to show you what's going to happen. Okay? And the king commanded after this, and he sent and called again his wives, and they came. And the king was in, and they all answered according to the first interpretation. Okay? And he was very wroth. And the king said, surely you speak lies, utter falsehood, and what you have said. So when you speak, this is why when I was in education, I said, look, for some reason, I'm seeing contradictions. So somebody's lying to me way too much. You know, they want you to keep believing like it's true. It's like, no, something is off. Okay? That's the issue with now. They don't want you to know that. This is how we are. We're seeing pastors saying, oh, we're interpreting the Bible like this and that. Man, something it's not right. So it's like your spirit has to be something that's not the right spirit. So we're questioning that. But then everybody else who's under the delusion of the system that they don't realize, you're going to get the same interpretation. And that's why I keep saying the sorcerer will continue to reinvent himself when you caught him in the lie. Okay? So then, and the king commanded a proclamation be issued throughout the land of Egypt, saying, it is resolved by the king and his great men that any wise man who knoweth and understandeth the interpretation of the dreams will not come in this day, therefore, before the king shall die. And the man that will declare unto the king the proper interpretation of his dream, there shall be given unto him all that will require from the king. And all the wise men of Egypt came before the king together with all the magicians and sorcerers that were in Egypt and in Goshen and Ramesses, that's the first, and Tekpon and in Zoar and all the places the borders of Egypt, and they all stood before the king. And all the nobles and all the princes and all the attendants belonging to the king came under the cities, and they all sat before the king, relating his dream before him. And the princes and all of that sat the king were astonished in the vision. And all the wise men were before the king, greatly divided in their interpretation of his dream. And then interpreted the king, saying, the 7 good kine are 7 good kings, from whom the kings will issue raised up over Egypt. And the 7 bad kine are 7 princes that will stand up against them in the latter days and destroy them. And the 7 ears of corn are the 7 great princes who will fall in the lands of the 7, and the enemies of war of the Lord the king. And some of them interpreted the king in this manner, saying, the 7 good kine are strong cities of Egypt, and the 7 bad kine are 7 nations, the land of Canaan, and are the 7 nations of the land of Canaan. See, Canaan had 7 nations. This is where you're going to get the 7 horns. I told people this is where you get the 7 kings, okay, who will come up against the 7 cities of Egypt in latter days and destroy them. And that thou sawest the second dream, the good and bad ears of the sign of government, and Gibeah will return to see it first. And in this reign, the people of Gibeah will turn against the 7 cities of Canaan, who are stronger than they are, and will destroy them, and the governments will return, and Gibeah will return thy seed. So at that time, Canaan was stronger than Egypt. Okay? Now, how do you think they got that way? Oh, could it be because we don't get it? Our people don't ever learn to stop being stupid? Okay. They should have never been more powerful than us. And some son of the king, this is interpretation. They get the kind of 7 queens who now, okay. So basically, they're all giving him what they think it means. But now, and the wisdom that they did not gather correctly in all the words, for this was from the infumu to frustrate the words of the wise and Gippities. So what you're seeing here, the Most High can send confusion to prophets and to people who think they know. This is why, they were saying, oh, all scientists are baffled because now the ocean is getting colder. Because Tatan Zombie is like, because you don't know how the ocean was created. You keep listening to the liars. Okay? The Most High wills it. Tatan Zombie wills it. Not the God, the God that they're talking about, oh, God wills it. What God? What is his name? Do you even know who he really is? Other than looking like Zeus, they don't even know. Zeus know why the water's getting colder. But he's not going to tell you, going to keep having you be stupid. The most like I'm like, let him be telling you the stupidness. All right. So now, and the king saw that none amongst the wise men, okay. See, what it was is the Fumo frustrated the words of the wise men in order that Yosefu. So what it is that Tatan Zombie, our father, the creator, can go and confuse everybody until he gets the right person to tell the truth. Okay, this is really what it means. So anybody can look good and say, oh yeah, this is what Tatan Zombie is going to do. This is what the Most High, this is what it means, blah, blah, blah. And then the father is saying, all of you are completely off. Okay? Because I want this person to do it. Okay? See, when Toko and Kimbangu were prophesying, this is some things that they knew. Okay? There are many people who can prophesy and give interpretation, but at the same time, the Father can give these people a false understanding because he wants a certain other person to tell it. Okay? And he does this before. He did this before. So a lot of these, so I'm going to tell you, okay, that this is going to be, what I'm reading right here is connected to what's getting ready to happen. And starting, it already started. It started yesterday. What's today? The 23rd? The 20th. It started on the 20th. And it's funny because some people are already starting to die. And the king saw that none amongst the wise men and magicians spoke correctly, and the king's wrath was kindled with his anger burned within him. And the king commanded that all the wise men and the magicians should go out from before him, and they all went out from the king in the shame of disgrace. And the king commanded the proclamation be sent throughout Engipiti to slay all the magicians that were in Engipiti, and not one of them should be suffered to live. Okay, that is going to happen again. You don't even know. Because I'm going to give an interpretation to a dream. And I know they know it. They've been having it, but they don't know what it means. Because the Father told them, he gave them some stuff that they don't even know. And they're trying to figure it out as we speak. And I actually got the revelation of it. And after this, Mara, chief butler of the king, came and bowed down before and sat before him. And the butler said unto the king, may the king live forever, and his government be exalted in the land. Thou was angry with thy servant in those days. Now 2 years past, and didst place me in the ward, and I was for the same time in the chief of the bakers. And there was a Bayuda, a Kongo. Don't even scratch the servant belonged to the captain of the guard. His name is Yosefu. I'm in a relationship with one now, and I know there's other people who are the descendants of him, but not everybody. The father has confused a lot of people, and I'm gonna get into that. For his master, being angry with him, placed him in the house of confinement and attended us there. And then sometime after he was heard, the dream was one night. And the chief of the bakers, we dreamed, and a man coming to interpret this dream. And we came in the morning and told him that servant, and he interpreted us in our dreams to each man according to his dream interpret. And it came to pass to be interpreted to us. So was the event, there shall not be ground for any of its words. And therefore the infumu of any kind slay the people and give thee for naught. Behold, the slave is still confined in the house by the captain of the guard, his master in the house of confinement. Okay, so now they're going to bring Yosef out. And now look, he said, and the throne upon the king was covered with gold, silver, and onyx, and it had 70 steps. Okay, 70 is a big number in the esoteric secret societies. It's also a big number in the father side, because everything is to mimic King Kongo's Tutankhamun's kingdom. It was their custom throughout the land of Ngibia, every man who was to speak to the king, if he was a prince or one that was estimable in the sight of the king, he ascended in the king's throne as far as the 31st step. Okay, so now you're going to see why in the secret society, if you know where they have these steps that they ascend. You see now, though, there's 70. So that 33rd stuff is a lie. Okay, you got people up there that are sitting at the 70th level. Okay, that's where the Ngipiti king sits. That's technically what they want to call the Illuminati, whatever. We get into that, but it is what it is. All right. It was a common, he ascended to the third step, 3 degrees, and the king would descend to the fourth and speak to him. That's where you're going to get your 7. The wicked 7 and versus the good one. Their custom was, moreover, that any man who understood to speak all the 70 languages be ascended to the 70 steps. So now, this is why you have what's called the 7th heaven and above, because a person who knows Tatanzambi's tongues, that speaks all the 70 languages, okay, this is a person that is revered as very powerful. And Tatanzambi said, when he gonna do this? Because Toko was there when it happened with them, they descended the Holy Spirit. He spoke, Mayamona spoke the 70 languages. The real Messiah does the same. So does the kingdom of Zulu. They speak the 70 languages. Okay? All of them. So now, this is how you're going to know you're dealing with some fake pastors. Most of them can't even speak Chinese. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that this is my role because I have a different thing, but the Father said it. That's why he said, it's not time yet. Okay? He ascended to 70 steps and went up and speak. And many who could complete the 70, he ascended in many steps as a language which he knew to speak in. So the 70 steps is all the languages you can speak. There's if any Mason, I'll tell you right now, they don't speak all 70 languages. No. I can guarantee, because one of the languages they can't even speak, man, you're going to find out. It's going to trip out everybody. It was customary. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. You got a pastor who's saying he is to the fullest filled with the Holy Spirit. and yet he cannot ascend the steps. Tell him to go speak. What the language? Have him fluently speak Egyptian language, huh? That the pharaohs them were speaking. Man, go sit down. Most of them don't even know it, huh? That was one of the languages that was part of it. Okay. And when Yosephu came, the king bowed down to the ground before the king and descended to the third step. And the king said to Yosephu, I dream a dream. So this is why when the Maliki, and this is the story where the Maliki came, they said that Yosephu could not be a prince because he didn't know how to speak all the tongues. So in that time, each location, they had 70 languages. The so-called people, they know this because there are those people who know them, but they don't ever tell you that. Okay? This is part of the lie. Okay? And it was customary in those days. So after this day, and this is what happened when Masindisi brought down the Mwanda in the Bible. People want to say I'm crazy. When the Holy Spirit came down, this is what was happening. The 70 languages came back. And after those days concerning thou art wise, thou can interpret the dream that hearest. And Yosephu answered the Pharaoh, saying, let the Pharaoh relate his dream. He said, surely interpret belong. And the Pharaoh related his dream. He said, and the dream of the kind and the dream of corn. And he said, Yosephu, when clothed with the spirit of the Mwanda. So how do you interpret? First of all, the interpretation requires you to be in the spirit of Tatanzambi. That's the first thing. Because it's not going to be him who's speaking. It's going to be the spirit of the Most High. And now watch this. And knew all the things that would befall the king from the day forward, and he knew the proper interpretation. Because what is the Mwanda going to do? The Mwanda is going to show you things that nobody else will know but you. Everybody else is going to be astounded. Okay? I'm going to tell you about a dream that I had, and I know it's going to be the one that's plaguing all of the people on this earth that know what I'm talking about. You're going to see this. And it has to do with the coffin. Okay? Behold, and forward, and Yosephu found favor in the sight of the king, and the king inclined his ears and his heart. And he heard all the words of Yosephu, and Yosephu said unto the king, do not imagine that you are two dreams, for it is only one dream. For that which Tatanzambi has chosen to do throughout the land, he has chosen the king of his dreams, and he has the proper interpretation of the dream. Okay? This is why I had my vision in October 3 years ago. This is relating to this. The 7 kind and ears are 7 years. And the 7 bad kind are the ears of corn are also 7 years. It is one dream. Behold, the 7 years that are coming will be great plenty throughout the land, and after that 7 years of famine will follow them. A very grievous famine, and all of the plenty that will be forgotten from the land, and the famine will consume the inhabitants of the land. The king dreamed one dream, and the dream was therefore repeated unto the Pharaoh, because the thing is established by Tatanzambi, and Tatanzambi will shortly bring it to pass. Now therefore, I will give thee the counsel and deliver thy soul and the souls of the inhabitants of the land from the evil of the famine, and thou seek throughout the kingdom that many very discreet and very wise who knoweth all the affairs of the government, and appoint him to superintend over the land of Engipity. Okay? So, and let the man that thou places of Engipity appoint officers under, that they gather all the food, for the good years are coming, and let them lay upon the corn and deposit in thy appointed stores. And let them keep the food for 7 years of famine, that it may be found in thee and help thee. Now see what has been happening, and no one's paying attention. And I told people this when 2017 hit and they had the eclipse. Okay.
No, I didn't say that. I'm just trying to get myself in the house. Why? What's up? Well, I'm trying.
Let me pause this. Okay, sorry about that. I meant to get this done sooner. All right. So here's what people don't know took place with the eclipse that took place on 2017. Okay. This was where, and of course, people keep talking about, oh, they're creating an intentional shortage. These were just warnings. Okay. So what happened was there were the signs that you better prepare yourself for great destruction and famine. Okay, so he's showing them this. So many people understood that our father Tatanzambi, that they lied to the Christians about, because technically this is the concept that will institute what you're now going to call the tribulation. And you're suffering it right now because of many of the things that happened over the last several years. Actually, the last 100 years is curses upon the heathen and more. Actually, technically 500 years. And the fact that you are getting people who are not telling the truth. Okay? So now what it is that he's saying there's a time where you are going to be in good standing, and you're going to have, and see, the only people that are going to actually be able to benefit are those who actually did this. Okay? But there's another thing to this I'm going to show people. I let them, okay, that be found. So the Most High, what was happening was Captain Zombie gave Ngipiti these last 7 years in a preparation, because the same thing happened towards the end of the captivity of the Banabetu Bisolele, when Ramesses was the thing, the pharaoh. Okay, so he's saying, let all the inhabitants also order, gather, and every man the produce of the field, the sorts of food during the 7 good years, that they place it in their stores, that they may find them in the days of the famine which live upon it. This is the proper interpretation of the dream. So this is given to save the soul and the souls of the subjects. And the king answered and said to Yosefu, who saith and who knoweth what their words are correct? And he said unto the king, thou shalt be a sign for thee. There shall be a sign for thee respecting all my words, that they are true, and that my advice is good to thee. Okay? Behold, thy wife sitteth this day upon the stool of delivery, and shall bear thee a son, and thou wilt rejoice with him. When thy child shall gone forth from his mother's womb, their firstborn son that has been born these 2 years back shall die, and thou shalt comfort in the child that will be born in the day. So he's showing you that with the Holy Spirit, the real Holy Spirit, you're going to tell a pagan king exactly what's going to happen to his life, his family, and everything. And when it comes to pass, boom, this guy is legit. Okay? And there was great lamentation, and the queen bore a son, and he did have the tithing and rejoiced, and it gone forth that the clerk had fallen dead upon the ground, that they found the firstborn son of the king fallen dead upon the ground. So let's get into what is going to be a reality check for people very soon. Okay? Because like Tatan Zombie said, if people have been misinterpreting the scriptures and twisting it to their benefit. So now, this is the thing that's going to become the harsh reality of those who are now even suffering. Like I said, how the wrath, the first of all, it comes to different scriptures. Judgment begins in the house of Yaoundé, Isolde. Okay. Also, the nations will now mourn, and I'm going to go to Proverbs. Proverbs. Now we know what it really is, not really Proverbs, but we're going to talk about it. He that has been often reproved harden his neck, shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. Let me say it again. He or she, it's not just he, because the Catholic Church was very heavy on the masculine, not the feminine, which was not the way of the Most High, but you know how it is. King James was kind of similar. All these other people, same stuff. He or she that any moon to that have been reproved harden his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bears rule, the people mourn. Now, this whole thing about good cop, bad cop, hero versus villain, this all comes from the deception of the fallen ones. Okay? The good guy, bad guy. Oh, this is all good. People are looking at children as if they always think that these children are all coming from the Most High, and oh yeah, they're all blessed and this. You're gonna find out. You're gonna find out. Not everybody came from the God of truth. It's a lie. Because look at the concept. He is with the Pharaoh, the Egyptians. They know that they're worshiping, and I'm going to get into this. They are all at this time seeing, let's see, where are they? The list of all these different gods that they served. Okay, this is all of them here. All right. And the biggest deceiver here, and where they get the word Peter from, is this guy. Ptah, a creator deity and god of craftsmen, the patron god of Memphis. Okay, all they did was reshuffle this name and put Peter. That's who that is. And he was also affiliated. See here, he is the ancient Greek, ancient Egyptian, the Coptic, and the Phoenician. He is also affiliated, and his name in the equivalent to him in the Greek Romans. I want to see what is his equivalent. One second, let me pull it up. I can't spell today. Okay. So according to this, when you go and you translate him, this thing is a pain. Is this guy. Okay. Oh, sorry. VULCO. And now remember, when you watch the movie Star Trek, where does Spock come from? Now you know who Spock is. And his father. So he's the god of fire. So you see him portrayed with the hammer. And I'm going to show you that the reason why he's like this is because this is Tubal Cain. So you see his hammer with his chain. You see all of that. Okay, now it's going to look familiar because you see those when they go and you see the Catholic priest and he's swinging his thing with that thing that he's spraying around the incense and all the stuff that he's doing. This is where he gets it from. Okay. Okay. And of course, this would then be considered what they call Thor. Now, because he's the version that they talk about in the Yoruba language or whatever, because like I said, his ancestors are really black. That's why that hammer is the same. But the Yoruba people, that god they call it, is still Tubal Cain. That's why I say he comes in different. He's the same as the Egyptian god Ptah. Same stuff. You don't understand, it's all part of the lie. This is how the devil laid low the Gentiles. So now, when you go to what I just read in Proverbs, it says, whoso loveth wisdom rejoiceth his father, but he who keepeth company with harlots spendeth his substance. So harlot is not just about people who work in prostitution, but people who are always a solicitor. This is where solicitation comes from. So it could be a salesman. That's why they say a solicitation. It could be anybody trying to sell you something can be considered a person that's affiliated in the form of a harlot. Okay? Well, this is the concept, and I was listening to a lady who did a teaching, who was showing herself on Facebook, and she said that they used to make everybody go to the theater in Greece. And it was for the purpose of not what people think. Exactly. It was for indoctrination. The same concept was done in Rome. Everybody was supposed to go to the Colosseum. Everybody was supposed to go. Why? Because the Roman Empire wanted you to make you focus on this stuff rather than what they were doing. So when America was formed, you saw in the Old West, they had the theaters, they had the theatrics. You saw what happened with the Renaissance. Rome used to make all the people go to the Renaissance festival. This was encouraged. Okay, what was the purpose of this? To get you to focus on distractions. Okay, the same concept was engineered through America when it came to the movies, when it came to sports, when it came to all these things. They want you to go to the sports. They want you to go to the movies. They want you. Why? Because then you're not focused on what is happening above you. This is why they created entertainment. This is why it's all part of this concept. But now they're going to tell you it's not Lucifer. It's the same, because they said, oh, no, well, we know the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. There was nobody named Abraham. There was nobody named Isaac, and we did not call him Jacob. But that's what you want to believe. Get ready for a shock. Okay? All of those are the Anunnaki playing the yin and the yang on you. Because what they did is they always create somebody to promote as the good guy and somebody as the bad guy. And they did all of that stuff throughout the history. They did it in Babylon. They did it in Egypt. They did it in Greece. They did it in Asia. Why do you think they want all the Asian people to go to the theater? A lot of that stuff was dressed up there. Okay. When they did all of the geisha and the puppets and everything, every single society has done this, and you don't even know it's all part of the illusion. Okay, so you don't know what is happening behind closed doors that is actually working against you. Okay. Whoso loveth wisdom, the king by judgment establishes the land, but he that receiveth gift overthrow it. See? So now, when you keep bringing all of these tithes and offering to Rome and to the system and all of the things that you think you're not a part of, you are overthrowing the real kingdom. Or you're trying to anyway. On this plane is being overthrown. Up there, no way. Okay. Around you, no. Around you, no. It's not being overthrown. But the problem is, this is what led us to be scattered several times. This is what led the other nations not to know that many of the kings were always supposed to be rewarded with gifts. But these people, like he says, their rule would bring the people to mourn. So the way you stop the people from mourning is to give them something to focus on. Rome, all of these rulers, they knew that they were not the proper people, that they were imposters. They already knew this. They knew what gods they really served, and they knew that it was a deception. But you don't know that. So then in each and every civilization that they created, the intent was, and you see how, Native Americans said, oh yeah, they had games and they had sports. Yes, we did certain things, not to say we didn't, but what was the purpose behind it was not the same as what other civilizations saw them as. A sacrifice to gods. Okay, that didn't stop. You are still sacrificing to gods even now, but they made it look, so because they want to pretend to look like they follow the Bible and are supposed to be this mellow, this civilization and community of everybody's together in love. And no, that's not, you got Christians killing Christians right now. And you don't get it. Okay, I'm sitting there looking at, we supporting Ukraine and not Russia. And both of these people, you don't understand. They're talking about how he's suppressing the Eastern Orthodox Church, and that's what he is. Hello? He's supposed to be that. Okay? Oh, but now he's more like the Catholic version or the westernized version of Christianity. So that's why he's suppressing. You don't get it. This is still the so-called Christian America against the what? Christians? Oh, so now the Western Orthodox Christians are better than the Eastern Orthodox Christians, and you're fighting each other. Whose side is the Most High on? You are deceived. We're right back to it, just like what happened with France and England, what happened in Europe. Christians killing each other, it's still going on right now. And in Islam, it's the same concept. You got Muslims killing each other. In Judaism, there's a guy who said, oh, in our Judaism, the Jews don't kill each other. I said, what? Try again. They sacrifice their own people, and it's not true. All the time, they use them for their whatever purpose they need, and it's not true. But let them say it, okay? Because whatever God they worship is going to require whatever they want. Because then they don't get the power, and they know it. Whatever Lucifer tell them they do, I'm telling you, don't even go there. Okay. So now, whoso the king, a man that flattered his neighbor spreadeth a net for his feet. In the transgression of an evil man there is a snare, but the righteous does sing and rejoice. Now, the whole purpose of convincing Christians that they are no longer a sinner was to get them to sing and rejoice in the process of sinning without even realizing it. And this is the concept to make the stumbling block take place for Jacob. So like in the case, and I'll even go into it, that's why I said, for example, we have Genghis Khan, and you had this other guy who was where did my thing go? And this is man, hold on. So now, and I'll pull him up. So you had this war between Rome and this person long time ago. They call them the Huns or whatever. What you don't understand is these people are still Yapet, Margogo, Gog, okay? So Ashkenaz, Gomer, what you call these people, they're all the same. They have the fallen angels tricking them that they're, China, we're Japan, we're Korea and all this. No, it's all Magog, okay? They don't understand this concept because they're being deceived by the same gods. This guy, okay? And these jokers here, we go to the Egyptian, we go back to these gods. All they did was change the way they look. All of these gods right here were being worshipped by this guy. And at the same time, you think that when during he was alive, you think that the Roman Catholic Church wasn't. Yes, they were. Okay? So Asia, Eurasia was always the barbarian fights. Where they learned not to be like that was from the Banabetu of Isolele, who taught the nations how to live. Okay? Because it goes back to what kingdom you serve versus the kingdom you didn't. When you serve the kingdom of Lucifer, there's no peace. Fighting all the time. Everybody want to dominate. Game of Thrones. Okay? So in this regard, it's always like I told you, the order of the dragon everywhere, because you have all of these dragons that were created. See, people don't even know. You praying to Mulan. You praying to Mulan. And these ancestors, all of these people are affiliated with paganism. All of the Hamitic tribes, all of the other tribes who worship these false deities, they are connected to the kingdom of the dark god, regardless of what you think. Okay? So now, like Tatan Zombie said, I did not create these prisons for you, but for the false gods. But what they have done is they have turned the whole world into what? A prison. Because now you serve these gods in the concept of what they call villain. This is the logic behind it. It's called one second, pull it up. The hero and villain mentality. Okay? So what they do, this is how they play both sides. Somebody got to be the good guy, somebody got to be the bad guy. But they're the same. But you think that they're not. Okay? A good example, one of my favorite shows I knew when I was growing up was about the show my dad knows about, Knight Rider. You had the car that was the good car. And then, of course, you had Michael Knight and all the stuff he was doing. Now I know why he was named Michael. Okay? But at the same time, you had the one that was the evil car. They called him Karr. This was the concept of the good villain and the bad guy. And this was the whole logic behind the foundation for law and government for the criminals who operate above the law, for the people who were considered untouchable from the law enforcement. That's the normal way. Why do you think they're telling you this? Because they know that there's people who are untouchable. But then there's those who claim to be fighting these people who are untouchable, that they themselves are not as honest as you think. But they're meant to believe that they are. Okay? So like Tapan Zombie was saying, this is the logic behind the people that hide themselves, that you don't know the reality of where they're really getting their power and wealth from, and they're mimicking and masquerading like they're doing good when they are pretending. Okay? Because it's all about the setup for the big finale for the wizard is about to happen. So the vision of the 7 years of what I have now learned, and another brother and I talked about it was, and he's even said, this is where the Most High was beginning to seal a lot of the people who didn't know who they were. Many of us knew each other. Toko, Kimbangu, many of those people in Africa, there's people who have an understanding of these things, but the reality is there was interference that was run. And so Tatan Zambi said, now we're preparing for the harvest. And had the times not been shortened, then no one would have been saved. Now the logic's going to be behind this, and this is the vision that I have. I saw the coffin. The coffin was an indicator, and the interpretation was it's time to eliminate those who worship the dead gods. Okay? So therefore, when I see we're coming now to the next phase, they have even coded it with the World Economic Forum. You think they're running anything, you fool yourself. They are this. Like, I'm sitting there saying, oh yeah, after 2020. Now I said, I already knew. I didn't, nobody knew the day or the hour, but we were ramping up to this process, okay, of where now you must put an end to this. They had it mapped out from 2020 to 2025, which was going to be the period of the extermination of many people, many of them NPCs, people who don't even know who they are. Okay? So now, over the next 7 years, whoo, boy, this is going to get ugly. The house of Jacob will be going into massive, and I mean massive, deaths and destruction, in addition to the house of Esau. But they're acting like it's them. But the point is, these, when you keep saying who's doing it, it's really him. This is Ptah. Okay? He is this God right here that I just showed you. And of course, he's a mixing of basically he's all these gods in one. This is why they said that when they said the sorcerer looked like he had many, okay, he had all of these gods, rolled into one. Okay? So now when you see the one that says Jupi, a Roman influenced god worship at the Siwa Oasis in Gipiti, this is who they're talking about. So it doesn't matter. And that's what Dr. Zami said. It don't matter if you are thinking you worship the black god. It doesn't matter if you Asian, whatever god you believe. Okay? You are going to be connected to the gods of the barbarians. You're going to be connected to the gods of those who worship the creation and not the creator. It doesn't matter. Okay? So in this regards, it's now time where it says you have had opportunities up until now to unlearn what these Egyptian gods have taught you. Okay? This whole thing that happened between the Republican and the Democratic thing is all a big show about what's going to start unfolding starting the end of this month of August into October and then some. Okay? You already see it unfolding in the major cities as we speak when they're talking about these things that are happening. You're going to see a level of death so unprecedented, you can't even imagine the amount of crying there's going to be. It's already starting to happen. You're going to see black people in churches. Black churches are going to get hit hard. And I'm talking about big time people, deaths. Okay? You're going to see this in the white church. You're going to see this in Islam, Judaism, Hinduism. You see now they had a festival. A lot of black people died over there. They're not going to report it, okay? But you're going to see massive, 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 massive casualties, okay? Because you already worship the God of the Chinese. You don't even know, okay? All these sister cities, and we're partnering with this and this and that, okay? This illusion is coming off. When you're going to see, and I now understand what the lady told me when I was in Africa. She said, you're going to see this, but this is the secret. When you see they're going to put up this guy, he's going to show up. Yep, but not the way you're thinking. Everybody, and I mean everybody affiliated with any and all of the imposters are going to go with this guy. It doesn't matter if you don't Toko Kimbangu, the Black Yeshua, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you think the Most High is black, white, Asian, whatever you want to call it. You are going to Nineveh, period. If you're preaching, that's why I told people, I saw this in Mbanza, Kongo, it's the center. Here you see This is in Banza, Congo. Look who you see who there, the Pope, fake guy. Oh, he represents the Most High. No, he does not. When they told me, see, the picture went all away. They had to reset it. When they told me that Kimbangu and Toko was back, how? This is in Banza, Congo. You see this guy? This is a Catholic priest. How can he operate at all in Mbanza, Congo with Masinisi coming back in spirit? You would have a problem with these people. All of the Catholic churches, the Protestant churches, anything with Muslim, Islam, whatever, the Most High would be against it, period. So then if we coming into the true spirit of the Manda, the Holy Spirit, anything to do with anything affiliated with Babylon must say goodbye. Okay? If this is not happening, you're dealing with imposters. Okay? They can't be comfortable sitting there in the land, knowing that the Most High has returned in spirit, full force, with the Tokwis, Kimbangus, whatever, Padi, Matswa, okay? Anybody who comes like that is going to start to feel uncomfortable. This is the next phase. Oh, boy, you don't even know. You're going to see something manifest that is going to humble everybody involved with secret society, deception, school, church, government, politics. All of these people, you're going to see them get hit. Hit. Because these guys right here, let me show you them again. Get comfortable with this. All of these guys right here are going to turn on everybody because you don't know who they really are. Everybody going to get jacked up. It's already started, by the way, okay? They portraying these things in movies. And you don't understand, this guy right here is the same. It doesn't matter the image. It's the spirit. Because if the spirit is Egyptian in any way, this is going to be your God, period. It doesn't matter. Oh, no, I don't go with that image. I don't know. No, if you, like Toko and Kimbangu said, if you're going to keep preaching the evil doctrine, okay, you're going with this guy, period. It doesn't matter what Toko is, Kimbangu is, because I told you, he has different forms. He's an agent. There's agents everywhere. This is Simon the Sorcerer. And he was one of us. Okay? When Proverbs is saying, you now have, the world is mourning because you have wicked rulers. But how do you know, what did they do to you? They made you go into the entertainment world and stay distracted with the what? Television. The television is how you now make all of the Greeks go to the theater. Okay? That's how it goes. Let me finish this up quick because I got to get some things done. But anyway, you know, so they wanted me to go into this book. So when we talk about, it says, seek ye first the kingdom. This is Marco first. Then he left the place and revealed to his homeland, and his students followed him. During the Samwati, he began teaching in the temple, and many who heard him were amazed and said, "Where did this man get these things? The wisdom he has not given and the miracles that have occurred from his power in Golo? Is he not the builder, the son of Malia, the brother of Jacobo and Josephu and Judah and Simeon? And are not his sisters here with us?" See, this is the family of Masinisi. You see that? They didn't have these names. This is Judah, Simon. See, he had a brother named Simon. But he himself was Simon, okay, a sorcerer. Not sorcerer, but forget that. The real one. Jacobo, Josephu, okay? Thus were offensive towards and thus they were offensive towards him. See? This is what you got to understand. And this is what I'm trying to tell people. Everybody's thinking that they are not offending the Father, that they are not offending the creation, that they are not offending the way that they live by the offense of the fact that they themselves don't know what they worship. Okay? Mfumu Yusu, he said, a prophet is only without honor in his own land and among his own kin in his own house. I want you to remember that. Anybody who is a real prophet of Tatanzambi is not welcomed by the masses. And this is what Toko himself said. Man, all of my people are against me. Wow. Okay? Anybody who worships the Most High in spirit and in truth, you are the enemy of everybody in the world, including your hometown. People will want to destroy you, not reverence you. This is how you know you're dealing with imposters and Pharisees and Sadducees, because the ministry you do will make people angry for the most part. But then those who know that they are seeking the kingdom will be like, wow, this is connecting with me. And then there are those who do a really good job of pretending like they have no hidden agenda. You're going to see those too. Because one of the biggest things about them, they're looking for the deep pockets. And you're going to find that out as part of it. All right. Then he summoned the 12 and began sending them out in the pairs, giving them the authority over the impure spirits. He instructed them to take nothing from the journey except a staff, no scrip, no bread, no money in their belts, and just to wear sandals and not 2 robes. Thus he said, if ever you should enter the house where you should remain until you leave that place, and whenever you will not receive you or not hear from you, then leave that place and shake the dust off of your feet to witness in your opposition. So what it's saying is, we, Banabetu of Isolele, we of the house of Tatanzambi, we who are the true calling people. Okay? The Father understands that when you are supposed to seek, like I said, seek ye the kingdom. Okay? This is why it's hard to be yoked with unbeliever. But first seek his sanctuary and his devotion, and everything else will be taken care of for you. In every place that you learn in school, church, wherever, what they call it, I forget the name for the Muslim, wherever you learn, whatever you learn, first of all, the person teaching must know how to seek the kingdom. Nobody who has taken an oath to a Greek god, to an Egyptian god, to a Roman god, to a Chinese god, they're all the same. Nobody who's taken an oath to any of these things will show you the kingdom. They don't have the key. Now, they can follow everything with what they've learned, but in order to manifest the kingdom within a person, in order to see the true unveiling of the power of the Most High, this person must be against any and all false teachers and doctrines. And what did I just tell you about Jasher walking up the steps? Walking up the steps. This is an individual, as we will soon, the Most High said, wait and see. Wait and see. This is why they don't want anybody to really understand that the concept of a Messiah-like person, and to say you know the Messiah means the true kingdom. The true kingdom will expose every imposter out here that is there only for one purpose, is to feed themselves and not you. But at the same time, they are very good at putting people out there that are acting the opposite. Because what you're feeding is not necessarily the pastor that's sitting in your church, but the people above this person. Because it is a system of all the churches that go right back, boom, to the pyramid of Amun-Ra. And they're not going to tell you that. The Chinese, the Indians, all these religions, the Christians, the Muslims, Judaism, Hinduism, everything, that's why you see the names of all of these gods in your face and you don't even recognize that you are under a curse. Because they're keeping you blinded with the yoga. Oh, yeah. Okay? And because they know how to manipulate the power you have never learned to use against you, you stay in that mindset. Not realizing everything is abracadabra, hocus pocus, from the top down, looking good, but being bad. You're hypnotized in ways you do not even understand. The hypnosis is this deep. Because any and all true people with power of the Most High are not there to rob you in any shape or form. In any way, shape, or form. Let me say it again. In any way, shape, or form. You don't understand the Most High's kingdom for all of his children of the Bana and Saka Yakubi is available to them. When you are raised up as children When you're little and you're small, do you even know how to use money to go to the store? No. Do you even know how to use money to go to the store? No. Be ye like little children. With the expectation your Father will give you what you need. This has nothing to do with the concept that many people are affiliating themselves with elders with bad habits. This has always been our issue. Who are putting money in their pockets, but telling you not to do the same. But they themselves are dishonest. And then you see what they do and you think it's okay just because they did it. That doesn't mean it's right. The Most High tolerates a lot of things, but now he's done tolerating the deception. You have been warned. I have been warned. We all have been warned. You don't know who's on the list. And all of the people who are abusing the gifts and using it to manipulate the people on the list are now going to get hit. I can't say nothing about it because I can tell you right now, you're going to be shocked who is going to get hit. It's going to be a very, very, very sad time. This is part of the reason why you say you don't wish for it. Because you're going to have family members, you're going to have people close to you. Boom, they're gone. And it isn't going to be like the way Second Ezra was telling, he quoted Ezra. They took it out for this reason. You're not going where you think you're going, people. The grand illusion is you are going to the grave. That's why I had the vision of the coffin, because those people worshiping these dead gods are now going to the grave. They taught you based upon your emotions and what you thought and what you think you're reading. We're going to heaven, we're going to this, we're going to that. And he even says, do you read it? Where is the kingdom? You're not seeking the kingdom. And don't assume just because somebody says that they're in the kingdom that they are. Not even me. Don't assume this. Anybody. But the harsh reality is always trust what is the intention of the person that is in front of you. Are we here to feed ourselves, or are we here to feed you? Is the knowledge we're using for the purpose of building your treasures in the heaven, in the kingdom, or is it for building our treasures here on earth? It doesn't matter how ordinary the pastor in front of you may not be living extravagant. So you think it's okay. No, go look at the people that are getting paid by that but that's paying that person. It got to come from somewhere. The organization of every church structure is always with people at the top. And the little fishies on the bottom. It's all a school of fish, mocking the real miracle. They're multiplying the fish not to bring you to salvation, but to feed the shark that's now waiting to eat, just like what happened in the days of Noah. Oh yeah, it's time for you to experience like Jonah the wrong way, to be devoured by the sea monster rather than run away. I'm telling you, you're going to the Kraken, people. You don't think you're going that way? Wait until the next few weeks or so. It's already starting. They have already set it all up. It's already ready to go. They're just waiting for the green light. They're waiting for the green light. And I'm telling you, when the Tatanzambi tell his army, let's go, he's not going to pull back. He's not going to say, hey, no, stop. No. Once Katanzambi and Punwood says, my army is ready to go, oh, you're going to know the difference between you enlisting in somebody's military than you in the king's army, the real king's army. You're going to see the difference. Tatanzami is not playing taps for anybody when he's doing that. No, you're not going to go bury your, with World War II and how they did all the ceremonies for the Japanese soldiers and the Chinese people and all these people that died in their various religions that were doing all kind of different ceremonies. That's not happening with King Kongo's attacks. When Tatanzambi's army goes forward, ooh, boy, you have not seen anything yet. You have seen nothing yet that can match what any of these militaries offer, with any of the things that they have created that they think when it goes forward. When they mocking, I told you, you should have never believed the evil twin playing the villain and the hero garbage. This is what got us in trouble in our kingdom, believing them in all these lies and the shape-shifting and all of the sorcery. When they tell you in the movie Farewell Atlantis, you better believe it. Yep. Farewell, goodbye. Okay? And you're standing in it, Corporal, like they did in the movie Karate Kid 2. You're standing in Atlantis, my son. Oh, you don't even know. They're going to burn down Wonder Woman. Okay? That's who that is in Revelation 17. That's what people trying to tell me, oh, she don't exist. They had her on TV every weekend, every week. You go see her in the movie, they're gonna make a new one about her. Oh, but she changed color. Iron Eagle. Okay. I'm gonna sing a song. You don't have to always study this, but understand all of this stuff that they doing here. They mixed it in here. You need the one to really explain it to you. And there's a lot of false gods. I'm telling you, we're under siege right now from all of these all over in Africa, all over in Asia, all over where you want to tell them, they are coming together. They are coming together to welcome. They're coming together to get ready. Because the Father's now going to say, harvest time, goodbye to y'all that want to be with the God of the Jesuits. Okay? You think you're not separated? You want to keep following the holidays of Rome? Be my guest. You think this calendar is right? Okay. Toko at one point even had to say, and I remember they talk about this with people who really knew the truth. Many of you are going to get divided out of here. Not all of you going to make it. Kimbangu said the same thing because they already understood that there were going to be deceptions among the people. So don't think just because they're calling themselves something. The same thing happened with the real Messiah. He said, hey, there's only a few of you going to, I'm not taking everybody. No way. This is exactly why you're going to see, they kept saying, oh, everything's okay. Don't worry about it. No, everything was not okay. And you better be worried about it because those who shouldn't worry are the ones who know. When he said, take not no thought for tomorrow, those who are the people who knows this is really how it's going to go. Man, if you're going to continue to think that they taught you in the education world and in the religious beliefs, and you're still going to hang on to this deception that this is not Babylon, that America is going to grow and get better, oh, you don't even know. They're just putting they're whispering sweet nothings in your ear when you're trying to keep people away from the real. The Most High is talking to us. He's trying to whisper the sweet nothing to say, look, get away. Oh, you're going to have so much better things than you even know when you stop following the people putting on a show. Because that's all it is. They're putting a show on in the church. They're putting a show on in the theaters. They're putting a show on in the politics. They're putting a show on everywhere, even in all of their offices when they're doing the presentations. Let me show you what I can do for you. Let me see. It's all selling you what they don't have. They never had it. It was never theirs. They're hoarding it like they're going to keep it. Oh, whoa, boy. You have no clue what's about to go down. Okay? Yeah, I sat there and I watched the picture they took of all those African leaders. Woo! And all those pictures they took of the people in the UN. Oh yeah, all these leaders. Boy, all of them praying to Hindu gods, who are actually Egyptian, which is the same false god. And this so-called Jesus you think you're talking to, Amun-Ra, okay. Watch what's going to happen to this. You don't have any idea that they switched it. It's not the same Messiah you think. And yes, he was here. But there's more to the story than what they made you see. And they told everybody else that you were a liar. Okay, call me a liar. I don't care. Call me foolish. Okay, I'm not trying to go up in anybody's church or anybody's place and convince them that what I'm saying is true. All I'm saying is John the Baptist, Yohane Umbotika, was never in anybody's church or anybody's temple. Where was he crying from? Was he eating all the same kind of foods you were eating when he was telling you to get ready for the kingdom? No. Our Messiah was not standing in anybody's church or anybody's temple, even his own father's temple. He was rarely even there. You don't understand that because he knew the hypocrites were in there and he was going to make an example of them. He was going to clean them out. Yep. Now he's going to do it again. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. He is coming, the Most High is coming to clean out the temple. For all you that's sitting there screaming and shouting to Amun-Ra, you don't even know who you're talking to. You're talking to the gods that saved the people out of the caves. The Neanderthal. This is who you're praying to. The Neanderthal gods. Captain Caveman! They put it in the show. You're talking to the caveman gods. You're talking to the people who had to do all the crazy type of dancing and do things to their bodies that the Most High was like, nope. You're mimicking demons that keep doing this stuff. You don't even know. They just calm down so that you don't realize it. Oh, yeah, no. They know whose show this is, who's in charge, and it's going to be the reality check like you wouldn't believe. You had the 7 years. You had the 7 years. Bam. It clicked over on August the 20th. Oh, yeah. August the 20th. Now, here we go. It's going to get worse and worse and worse every day from here on out. You have not seen, somebody told me that Nigeria, I hope that many of y'all got flooded. You see what happened in Connecticut. You see what's going on over there in California. They're burning down the place, my son. Okay. You see the earthquake. They say, oh, earthquake, what's going on? You see what happened in Hawaii. You don't get it. Mount Etna is going boom. Where Jesus? You see he come already. Yeah, watch this. You don't even know. Yeah, they're getting ready for the party. But it's not the party you want to go. I'm just telling you. You don't want to go to that party. You've already been in it, and they've been kind of keeping it down low. Yeah. Now you're going to see the Saturnalian party come out in the public. Yeah, you don't want to go to that party. Anyway. Zola Kwengi, Sambulolo, Inewezi Yabi Kongo Kutwala. Let's get the song going. Okay. Manakumba say, Imana Vela Masai so Saku Panzo and Zinga. Zambi se Toko Zulu Otuva Sambuwa. Tomakutu Kumikanga Utukisa Zam. Zambi tata talangampe setizele embubu wau ubatemo wesakaka waisa fumu yisu utufilu munanzile zulu wau utulakis okowina Koko ya Quincy Zambi tata talangampe setizele mbubu wao ubatwemo wesakaka wa isa isa kuma fumu ntani yetu yawe kembelwango wao konso oyo ukwikaka okomuvulusa zambi tata talangampe setizele mbubu wao ubatemo wesakaka wa isa isa mwananzambi velelese anensamfukayobi ngolo zaku izivavwa munantima mya zambi tata talangampe setizele mbubu wao ubatemo wesakaka wa isa isa. You got a lot of people that the garden look nice. Then you got a lot of people who house got weeds. You got a lot of people who are in between. But the one thing that you got to understand about us as the way of the Most High, the garden that He wants and has, even in the higher spiritual realms, there is no weeds. And there's no unnecessary growth. Everything is there that sustains us. Do not assume that anyone, and the time is going to come when the Most High is going to do some purification. You don't even know. That everybody is going to be in the garden with all the delicious fruits and vegetables, but they're going to be in the garden of the weeds. And that's what you got to understand, that the people bringing you to the weeds are going to get burned. You have the gods who are over the weeds, the tares, and the God that is over all of the beautiful fruit. And the illusion, it looks so good. Tempting, beautiful garden, but it's an illusion. And now the reality is going to hit. Because Cain's garden is filled with tares. And Tatanzambi's garden is nothing but good fruit. And the deception will be, what side did you pick? And that's going to be the reality check. Anyway, Zolo Kwingi, Sambulolo, Inawezi Yambe Kutwala, Ingita, Umbote, Sabona, Dumalang. Like I said, the final nail is going in the coffin. The kingdom is going to change. And you're going to see, oh boy, did you get it right or did you get it wrong? It's going to all depend on whose song you're listening to, whose voice you're paying attention to, what spirit is on you, on all of us. Because, like I said, cleaning up the garden is going to require the destruction of those who are here to burn it down. Been acting like they're not. Because I'm telling you, many of you are following the clown. Making things look good after he already made it bad. causing problems and then trying to fix it. That's not how this goes. There's no hero and villain story in Tatanzambi's world. You either work to build, or you are with the destroyer building up his own world. And now you're going to understand the difference. And get to hallelujah.